Well, hello plant lovers, welcome back to my channel. I have a group of plants here, new to the channel, not necessarily new to me, some of them are new to me, but I've had some of these in the past, many years ago, but I started collecting them again and I just love them. These are very, very interesting plants. They can be indoors house plants or they can be outdoors in your garden. This is a group of Plectranthus plants. These are in the Lamiaceae family, which is the mint family, also known as mint family, and they are also closely related to Coleus, which you can probably tell by the way that the leaves look, the coloration and the variegation, the veins, all that sort of stuff. Interestingly enough, aside from them being really cool, fast-growing, beautiful plants, they're also medicinal and culinary. So go figure. Let's jump right in and I'll explain, but I'm telling you, if you guys get even just one of these, you'll be very excited at the growth, how fast they grow, and some of the other qualities, which we're going to get to in a minute. We'll start with the first one. This is Plectranthus amboinicus. Actually, these two of them are two different variegated types. One is outer variegated with white. This one's inner variegated with kind of ochre. I think it's called ochre flame, which is like a light greenish. These are also known as Cuban oregano. They have a really strong oregano fragrance, and they can be used in the very same way that you use the common oregano that people use in seasoning, in cooking, stews, pizzas, all that sort of stuff. But in addition to that, it's also medicinal, and people use them to treat coughs and infections and sore throats, make a tea out of it, all that sort of stuff. Aside from those things that are really useful, I just think they're really beautiful. I think they're really cool. They're somewhat succulent. Some of them are treated like succulents and categorized in along with other succulents. But the leaves are thick. They're not really thin, but they're very soft and like furry and woolly. Very, 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 very cool. I love the patterns. I don't know if you could see if the camera's picking it up, but it's got like dark green in the middle, kind of lighter green outside of that, and then the white edging. Let's see if I can find it. Here's a good one. You see that? It's so cool. It's just really cool. So that's this plant and this plant. Ultimately the same plant, it's just a different cultivar, a different variety. Variegation is slightly different, but they smell exactly the same. Really cool. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, next up we have Plectranthus forsteri, which is, they call it green on green variegated. And this one is really interesting because the leaves get bigger. It's very robust. Same feel to the leaves. Similar variegation to this amboinicus, but instead of it being white, it is a lighter green. And the leaves are broader, slightly more triangular. And the fragrance is not like oregano. It's almost fruity. It has like a fruity fragrance to it. That's the only way that I can explain it. You'd have to get one and just touch it and smell your fingers because that sounds weird. But it is really, really interesting. And I really just love that fragrance. It's almost, I wish I could liken it to something, but it takes me back because I had this many years ago, and now every time I smell it, I'm like, oh, I'm right back a few years back when I originally had one of these. They grow just as well as the other varieties. You can see the older leaves, it looks like the yellow or the green variegation fades to white. I'm not sure if that is what always happens or if they're just bleached by the sun. I'm not sure the environment that these were living in and what kind of light they were getting, or this one, because it came from a different source than the others. But look at the new growth. The new growth has like a yellow, almost orange tint to it. I'm just fascinated by this. Look at how pretty this is. It's just so pretty. It's just so cool. I feel like these guys don't get nearly enough attention like I think they should. They're just really cool. They grow so well, especially indoors. And they're beautiful. And they have flowers too. All of these have flowers. Some of them are white. Some of them are a lavender or a purple. And these guys are all related to Swedish ivy. Sometimes they call these Swedish ivy. I tend to think of Swedish ivy as the waxy-leaved, thick, waxy-leaved, trailing houseplant that's been around for many, many years and generations. But these are same genus, very closely related, except they're just slightly different in appearance, the fact that they're furry, and the scent and medicinal and culinary uses. So that's Forsteri. Now this one here, I'm sure more people are familiar with. This one, I can't remember the Latin name for it, but I know that this is always called the Vicks plant. It smells just like Vicks Vapor Rub, menthol eucalyptus. Now, this plant, also, I think it's also called the scaredy cat plant because they say that cats are repelled by the scent. I don't know for sure, I haven't tested it out, but I go by the Vicks plant because that's exactly what it smells like to me. But this plant grows really fast. I had transferred all of these into semi-hydro. Some are in leca. This one's in leca. Lava rock, and lava rock. But this one I've had the longest. And as you can see, it's just going nuts. It is going nuts. I'm going to have to cut it and prop it because you could see how this could easily bush out like crazy. Wherever you cut it, there's going to be 2 new growth points coming out of above where the leaves were, like you can see here and here. And this can get really big and beautiful. And sometimes they get heavy at the end and they start to flop over so that they can kind of trail. But either way, whether it's trailing or like a small bush, I love them. I am just so fascinated by them. So far, these guys have been handling direct sun, but of course it's winter here, so I believe the sun is like further away or something, so it's not as intense as summer direct sun. But no issues with the sun. They actually can tolerate part shade or part sun, and they do just fine. And what people also use the Vicks plant for is you could take some leaves and put them in boiling water and inhale the fumes, kind of like you do with Vicks Vapor Rub. I don't know. I don't really think people actually eat this. It's not that it's toxic or anything, but I don't think there's a use for it to actually eat it. But I know that the scent is definitely menthol eucalyptus. Really cool. And I believe, I think there is a variegated variety of this, which I will get. I promise you that, because when I collect, I collect. But you can see that the Vicks plant has smaller leaves than all the others, right? Much smaller leaves, and I guess they're a little bit thicker too, you could say. A little bit thicker. They have that fuzz, but the menthol smell is just so cool. And I used to hate it. I used to hate the smell of Vicks Vapor Rub, but now that I have it in the plant, I really don't mind it. But yeah, it could be intense if you touch it too much. You know, the smell is pretty strong. The smell on all these guys is pretty strong. They're very potent plants. But I definitely recommend, if you want something unique, different, that grows incredibly well, that's beautiful, that'll give you flowers, that you can use to cook with, that you can use medicinally and make teas, I highly recommend the Plectranthus genus, because there are so many more than just this. Like I said, there's Swedish ivy, there's Mona lavender. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a plant that a lot of times stores sell in the autumn because they bloom like crazy in the autumn, but they're tender. They're not like hardy perennials, so you have to bring them in during the winter. But yeah, there's so many different varieties, and I just wish I could collect every single one of them that ever existed, because that's how much I love them. But you can see that some of these are a little bit struggling. Like this one has been, it's still acclimating to semi-hydro. That's why the leaves are a little bit limp. Still a little bit of a reservoir. This one too. And this one bounced right back, totally fine in semi-hydro. And this one the same, didn't even bat an eye. These two, it's gonna take some time. I'm probably gonna have to raise the water up so it could start growing some roots quicker, and then gradually let it decrease so that those new roots are in a very damp environment, but not totally waterlogged. So that's just what I do. But anyway, if you have any questions about Plectranthus, Swedish ivy, anything you see here, Cuban oregano, Vicks plant, please reach out. Let's talk about it. I love these plants. I know you will too, or I hope you will at least. I don't want to speak for you, but I think you will. And they're just very, very cool and beautiful and fun. And they make me happy because they thrive and they grow, and I feel like they're smiling at me. Hello. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you have not yet, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell if you want to be notified, and I will see you in the next video.